Next up, Jim Jordan tries to puff up in Congress, only to get absolutely silenced by Jayapal and Crockett like he's a rowdy kid getting shushed at story time. But before we get to that glorious moment, we're heading into a scene where Crockett starts dropping truth bombs so hot, the walls of Congress probably needed hazard pay. Let's go.
Because I don't know why we still arguing about what the Constitution say. I'm still confused. So let me tell you what the Supreme Court had to say. In the decision AARP et al. Versus Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, this is the opinion that came down May 16th, 2025 regarding the Texas situation. It specifically says on page 3, so you don't have to read too far, in paragraph number 2, it says, the Fifth Amendment entitles aliens to due process of law in the context of removal proceedings. And they were quoting Trump v. JGG, which is also a 2025 case. They go on to say procedural due process rules are meant to protect against the mistaken or unjustified deprivation of life, liberty, or property. That's why we've been talking about Abrego. And then the next sentence goes on to say, we have long held that no person shall be removed from the United States without opportunity at some time to be heard. I'd like to enter the Supreme Court decision. I don't even like this Supreme Court. I want to point that out. I would like to enter this into the record for all those that don't understand what the Constitution says. And it's been reaffirmed by, this is Trump's Supreme Court. That's why I don't like it. I'm just be honest. It's been reaffirmed by his Supreme Court. Unanimous consent, Mr. Chair.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Donald Trump's very own Supreme Court. Yes, that one, packed tighter than Mar-a-Lago during an FBI raid, just handed down a decision that made his anti-immigrant fantasy collapse like one of his casinos. And Jasmine Crockett, she didn't just read the ruling, she dropped it on the House floor like a legal grenade. She quoted the court, and surprise, it turns out the Fifth Amendment applies to immigrants. Yes, due process, fair treatment, basic rights, stuff Trump treats like it's printed in invisible ink. The court even says no person shall be removed without opportunity at some time to be heard. Translation, you can't just deport people like they're golf cart crumbs, Donald. And Jasmine, she made it very clear she doesn't even like this court, but even Trump's court couldn't MAGA their way around the Constitution this time. She entered the ruling like she was submitting receipts at a courtroom roast. This is Trump's Supreme Court. That's why I don't like it. I'm just be honest. Jasmine Crockett, she said the quiet part loud, and honestly, we're here for it because Trump's movement, it's selective constitutionalism on steroids. They worship the Second Amendment like it's gospel. But due process, never heard of her. Meanwhile, Trump tried to suspend habeas corpus like a wannabe dictator in a red tie, and the GOP still folding like dollar store lawn chairs. Next up, Jim Jordan steps in, and let's just say, it doesn't go well, but first let's take a look at what happened right before.
Who accused me and my colleagues over here of ignoring the Constitution. And if that were true, that'd be a very serious matter. So I did want to just inquire as to what exactly the accusation is. So I'll happily yield to the gentlewoman from Texas if she'd like to respond. Do you believe that someone who has snuck into our country, entered the United States illegally, that the due process requirements for that individual are the same as they are for a U.S. citizen?
I thought the question was for me, but it seems like the lawyers on this side or just my entire team knows the answer.
Mr. Chairman?
Per the Constitution, yes, if you are on our soil, you are guaranteed due process. And the fact that there's even a question is why we are struggling right now. In addition to, an additional issue that I have is the executive order that was signed by the president that seemed to get rid of birthright citizenship, which also is laid out in the Constitution, which is why even the most conservative judges have ruled against, there is no one that has ruled that that was okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
thank you.
Mr. Kiley tried to serve a constitutional trap. and Jasmine Crockett served it right back with a side of facts. Yes, if you're on US soil, you get due process. It's called the Fifth Amendment, not the Trump exception clause. And when he brings up immigration, Jasmine ups the ante by torching Trump's ridiculous attempt to kill birthright citizenship. Even Trump's own judges shot it down like it was a lawsuit in New York. This wasn't a debate, it was a public lesson in constitutional law. But don't get too comfortable, because Jim Jordan is next, and it gets even uglier.
That's simply untrue. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that due process is a context-dependent inquiry. And someone who is here illegally in this country facing deportation, the requirements of due process are specific to that
So
context.
I just want to clarify, and I know that there's lawyers on that side. It's just like we have different standards in general. Like you have a higher standard when it comes to a criminal case versus a civil case, right? So it's preponderance is going to be the burden on a civil case, and then it's going to be higher as it relates to a criminal case, right? It's beyond a reasonable doubt. That is going to be the burden of proof. When the Supreme Court was making distinctions, the distinctions weren't necessarily between is this person a citizen or is this person not. It wasn't a matter of certain people are not allowed to have due process, but it's kind of like there's different ways to evaluate things. The amount of protections that you are going to have in any criminal case. If you think about those that are charged with murder, whether they are a citizen or not, guess what? The burden of proof is still going to be the same. The burden of proof is still going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. There was never a distinction that said somehow, dependent upon your status, you somehow lose your access to due process. And frankly, that is honestly the only thing that the Supreme Court has been consistent on, is that there are due process rights that are going to be afforded to everyone that is found within our jurisdiction in the United States. I have not seen a case where they have said, no, it's okay for someone not to have due process. That is why the plane that was about to leave Texas, they said stop the plane literally at 1 a.m. because there had not been due process for those that were currently being held in the administration's custody. And thank you so much.
Jasmine Crockett just gave Mr. Kiley a free legal seminar, and he still walked away confused. She broke down burden of proof, criminal versus civil, and made it crystal clear. Due process doesn't disappear because someone wasn't born in a cornfield. And the Supreme Court, they've never once said it's okay to skip someone's rights based on immigration status. The Texas deportation flight was literally stopped at 1 a.m. because of that. So yeah, Crockett schooled the room, but don't go anywhere, because now it's time for Jim Jordan to jump in, and he's about to get shut down on the congressional floor.
Thank you. I think I understand your position a little better now. I can't say I agree with everything you said, but I would just say perhaps be careful with throwing out accusations or ignoring the Constitution, without carefully considering those statements, because the demands of due process is not just something that is the same in every context. It's
Mr.
very
Chairman,
much
I have a
context
unanimous,
so I yield back.
unanimous consent request.
Gentlelady is recognized for unanimous consent.
I'd like to submit for the record the Constitution of the United States Fifth Amendment explained, so that the gentleman can see exactly what is in the Constitution, where it says no person shall be deprived of due process.
I would just point out the Supreme Court, as the gentleman from California has said, has firmly, I'm quoting the Rehnquist from Justice Rehnquist, has firmly and repeatedly endorsed the proposition that Congress may make rules as to aliens that would be unacceptable if applied to citizens.
But
There
currently
is
the
process
Constitution
due, but
says-
it's not the same process due American citizens.
Mr.
Without
Chairman, it just says no
without
person,
objection, the
and
Fifth
so-
Amendment will be entered in front of the Judiciary
Thank you
Committee's record.
so much. I just
even
wanted to
though-
make sure everybody knows what the
even
Fifth
though
Amendment says.
we will take
Maybe
it.
we could introduce the 14th Amendment too, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's fine too. Well, you can introduce the whole Constitution. God bless you.
Jim Jordan, treating the Constitution like a prop in a school play, waving it around while forgetting it has actual words and, meaning. When Jayapal hits him with, "I'd like to enter the Constitution into the record," that's not just sass. That is a straight up takedown. She might as well have said, "Here, Jim, in case you misplaced the thing you swore to defend." Because let's face it, they're done pretending. This MAGA crew isn't even trying to hide it anymore. They'll bend the rules, burn the rules, and now they're holding up the Constitution like it's a Waffle House menu. Due process only if you're a billionaire or you've hosted 3 fundraisers at Mar-a-Lago. This wasn't a legal debate. It was a clown hearing. Jordan reciting no person like he just discovered cursive and ignoring the entire legal framework built around it. And that's the new game. Pretend to care about the Constitution while you rip it up on C-SPAN in broad daylight, because Trump taught them. Say it loud, say it wrong, say it again, and someone will call it truth. These people don't just disrespect their voters. They don't even bother hiding it anymore. They're out here cozying up to billionaires while feeding working Americans constitutional crumbs. But don't worry, it gets worse, because coming up next, Trump's legal team hits a new low that might make even Giuliani blink twice.
But tonight, Donald Trump spent the evening whining and dining with the top investors in his family's meme coin, a type of cryptocurrency, of course. Trump's family business basically auctioned off access to the president by promising the top 220 purchasers of his coin a seat at his crypto gala. The one that was held in the last couple of hours just tonight at his golf club, of course, in Washington, D.C. Now, the top 25 coin purchasers of that 220 got even more access to Trump. They were invited to an exclusive VIP cocktail reception before the dinner.
So Trump is throwing luxury galas for crypto bros, and somehow this isn't even the weirdest part, because the deeper you dig, the more this whole event starts looking like a cartoon level scam. Imagine paying tens of thousands of dollars for a seat at Trump's table, and the prize is being in the same room as a guy currently dodging felony indictments like he's playing whack-a-mole. And yes, buckle up, this mess is just getting started.
So just to be clear here, I mean, these crypto investors literally bought access to Donald Trump by enriching his family. And the more money they paid, the more access they got. It's basically the definition of an in-your-face, blatant, brazen, whatever you want to call it, pay-to-play scheme. But the White House says, don't worry, because Trump isn't doing any of this as president.
This question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House.
Oh, I see. So this dinner was scheduled during Trump's personal time. His shift must end at 5 p.m., I guess. So anything after that doesn't count in terms of abiding by rules and laws and such things?
This is the MAGA mindset in full swing. As long as it's after hours, the Constitution's off the clock. They're calling it personal time, like he's a high school kid working part-time at Foot Locker. This isn't governance. This is a pay-to-enter fan club where your membership dues go straight to Trump's crypto piggy bank. And if you think this is already shady, just wait. Because what comes next might be the most brazen thing he's pulled since the Mar-a-Lago classified file tour. Wait for it.
That obviously is not how any of this works. I mean, when you're president the president from the moment you are sworn in to the moment you leave office. Whatever you're doing, sleeping, dining, vacationing, no matter what you're doing. And the people who paid the Trump family huge sums of money by investing in this meme coin that again will benefit him and his adult sons financially, they got special access to the president. And we will probably never know who most of them are. And these donors, by the way, gave a lot. I mean, NBC News estimates that the average attendee to this dinner spent more than $1 million on Trump's cryptocurrency in order to just attend this dinner. And CNBC at the same time reports that about 764,000 people, most of whom bought much smaller amounts of Trump's meme coin, have all lost money on their investment. So small investors, the overwhelming majority, got screwed, while rich investors got a private dinner with the sitting president.
And this is what they call populism? Trump spent years pretending to be a man of the people. Meanwhile, he's out here selling presidential access like it's a VIP wristband at Mar-a-Lago Palooza. Millionaires get steak, wine, and photo ops. Regular folks, they get left holding worthless crypto and a screenshot of a MAGA frog. It's a textbook case of grift economics. Sell the hype, cash the check, leave your base with the bill. But don't blink, because what comes next? It ends this video.
And for the people who invest a lot, it's worth a lot. I mean, the person who bought more of Trump's meme coin than anyone else was this guy. His name is Justin Sun. And he's a Chinese-born crypto mogul. You can see him right there on the screen, who until recently was being prosecuted by the SEC for his own alleged crypto scams. That was until Justin Sun invested $75 million in Trump's family crypto business. And then suddenly, Trump's SEC decided to pause the case against Sun. Gee, I wonder why. We're going to have a lot more on Trump's #1 crypto fan later in the hour. There's a lot to say, including what a $6 million banana has to do with all of this. And I promise you, it has something to do with all of this. But other than Justin Sun and a handful of other crypto investors, we don't actually know who the vast majority of these attendees were. All we know is that they bought access to Trump. And in an administration as corrupt as this one, that kind of access is worth a lot.
So to sum it all up, a crypto billionaire under federal investigation dropped $75 million into Trump's meme token casino, and magically the SEC decides to take a nap. Totally coincidental, just your average Tuesday in the MAGA multiverse, where money talks and due process takes a smoke break. And then there's the $6 million banana, which yes, is an actual part of this story and not the name of a Trump donor. Although, let's be honest, it could be. Meanwhile, the rest of the coin buyers, they're stuck holding worthless tokens, praying the value goes up if Trump ever accidentally opens the Wrong Notes app and announces himself president again. It's like watching a high-stakes Monopoly game, only instead of jail, you get invited to dinner, and instead of go, you collect federal investigations. And the wildest part, we still don't know who most of these dinner guests were. Could be bankers, crypto sharks, or Eric in a fake mustache. Who knows? But what we do know is, the next layer of this story, it's going to be entertaining and probably a little scary. Don't miss what's coming next. Here you can find the next video. Click on it.